So in the past, I have come here for 2 years and talked about, it's okay, I love percussion. It's really great. About body image. And Jill had said, I'm thinking kind of something different. Like, I don't know, like I hate the word self-care, but like something in that realm. I was like, I got it. I'm done. Check. I already know. Because I had literally just listened to a podcast about this. And Jill said, the term self-care is really triggering for me. I was like, me too. And I think I've sort of, as preparing for today, I kind of thought like, why do I hate that term? I think it's for a few reasons. But I think that it's really misguided personally, because first of all, it has the word self in it. So we are just naturally such navel gazers. We're so selfish. We are self-obsessed. Like if you think you're not self-obsessed, like say a prayer, because we are self-obsessed. We are constantly thinking about ourselves and what we're thinking about and what we're going to eat next and how we look in this. And we are just self-obsessed. And so it has the word self in it. And so that I don't like it for that reason. And then like the vibe of it in mommy culture, I think tends to be like, like go take a bubble bath or like, like put your feet up. And it's this like, that's fine. That's fine. And I'm actually kind of against bubble, but you sit your own dirt. Bubble baths, I don't know. But like, if that's your thing, if you have a beautiful soaking tub in your home, like by all means, and some Epsom salts, like I don't fit in my tub. So it's either like my top half is out or I'm just like, I am a gargantuan in my bathtub. So like and you're sitting in your own filth. I don't know. I hate it. But like,
his own though.
If you love it, and take a bubble bath. Right. But it's like, I'm not against, right, yeah, and after.
Yeah.
No? Okay. I'm not a clean freak, I just like, Anyways, but so, like, the bubble bath itself is not the problem. I think the problem is this, like, idea of that, like, I deserve it, and this, like, indulging, and that, like, it's gonna fix all these, like, problems that we have, like, throughout the day. And so the way I'm kind of approaching this today, and the way I think that maybe it might help our goggles, is thinking about stewardship. So stewardship is a lovely Christian term that we love to throw around, but what does it mean? And there's like not really a wrong answer, but like from your point of view, what what does stewardship mean to you? What is stewardship?
Not rhetorical, she's looking for an answer.
Yeah, I like really want you to talk to me.
Serving others.
Okay.
Taking care of something.
Okay.
Taking care of and prospering the things you've been given.
Okay. So I personally think that I lean more towards that fuller definition of that it's been something that's been given to you that you are trusted to take care of, or instructed to take care of, or called to take care of. We can use lots of different verbs in there. And so that's why I like stewardship of your body, stewardship of your mind, stewardship of your soul a little bit better than this like self-care, which feels very like, again, like entitled or I deserve it. Like we have been given the gift of health. Like as far as I can see, none of us have any physical disabilities. That is a gift, right? Not that a disability is not a gift, but we have bodies that are very fully functioning, right? Like we are called to steward that gift. Our brains, like I've talked to almost all of you, I've not had the pleasure of talking to you yet, but like you're all very intelligent women. God has trusted you with children in your care. That is he is asking you to steward your mind over that this is like, we are to care for it. So if you Google like elements of the human being, it's body, soul, mind, or you can say like physical, mental, spiritual, there's kind of different ways, but we are not created. I mean, God created squirrels, right? And God created daffodils and a billion other things, and us. We are uniquely 3 elements: body, physical, brain up here, and I mean, I point to my heart for soul, but obviously I think it's a little bit more than that, but it's this idea of that we are, I don't want to get into a debate here about a squirrel's soul, but like, I don't think it's the same. I don't think God, and I mean, God said we are to have dominion over this. So there's clearly a hierarchy. We are higher than all the other beings that he created, all the other created beings. And so when we talk about stewardship of these three areas, one, it can be overwhelming. So like, just from personal experience, and I don't know if any of you will identify, but I think many of you will, like when you start thinking about self-improvement, again, this word self, it's like, seriously, it's such a trap, but like you go to Barnes and Noble and there's like self-help book, right? Like we are in the position we're in of whatever it is, of like having our bodies be a little lack of care, our minds being lack of care. So because we are relying on ourselves, we are in this problem because of ourselves. And the very nature of being here on earth and not in heaven with God is that things are out of balance. So if your life feels out of balance, it's normal. It's what is to be expected here. Things are out of order here. But when you're analyzing your life, and if you are only attacking the physical, or you're only attacking the mental, or you're only attacking the spiritual, you are going to feel probably more, and I say attacking, trying to improve or be better in one area. You are going to feel even more off balance because God created us as this very, very intricate. I mean, if you've studied science at all, like it is all like so connected. You likely have a personal story from your history of a time where you were mentally just like in the gutter, and going for a walk isn't going to just completely solve that, or going to talk to a therapist isn't going to completely solve that. It is this whole, if you're eating only donuts, right, it's not going to help your mental state. Like we are very connected with what we're putting in, with what's coming out. And so like, we've all heard the term, I think as a mom, like, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Like you've heard the term, right? It's so cliche. What's another one that you can think of that's kind of in the same vein?
Put on your, mask first.
Before. And the sentiment behind both of those terms are correct, of like, you can't be of good service if you yourself can't breathe or can't walk or et cetera, right? But then we sit down and we're like, okay, I gotta change some things about my life. And I think we just tend to just really like attack one of these three areas, or maybe two, instead of really thinking about all three. And then we get overwhelmed because it's like, there's so much I need to do. And like, I'm a mom, and how am I gonna fit in a 45-minute workout 5 days a week? And like, okay, so the way I like to think about making changes in our lives is there's a few attacks, I think. One, instead of thinking about cutting out bad or cutting out negative, what can I add in that's positive? So from a nutrition standpoint, like I'm cutting sugar, I'm just cutting sugar. Science shows that that does not work, and 100% of you will go back to sugar. 100% of you will go back to sugar. So, or I'm not eating after 8 o'clock at night. I'm just not going to do it. It's so funny. Science has shown that we are sinners. When we're told we can't, when we're told we can't do something, it's all we want to do. So like psychologically, it doesn't work. So if you would like to trick yourself psychologically and work kind of, I guess.
Eating vegetables.
Right.
Anymore.
Yeah. Right. There you go. There goes, go opposite, right? No, the better, I'll use a gardening example. If any of you have ever dealt with like lots of weeds in your grass, weed killer is effective, but the most effective way to avoid weeds in your grass is to choke it out with healthy grass. So the concept with ourselves is add more good in, and the bad will naturally choke itself out. Now, there are absolutely times and seasons and situations where you just have to say, I'm cutting this, I'm done. Like, I'm done with this. I'm through with saying these words or treating this person this way. I mean, there's absolutely a time and a place for that. I'm not saying that. But when you're talking about kind of a little bit more meta, more like, I feel so overwhelmed, try to think maybe about adding something good versus taking out something bad. Another thing I really like is this idea of habit stacking. Atomic habits, James Clear. So it's this idea where we have habits already established in our lives, whether we like it or not. You go and pick up the kids every day at 2:45. You brush your teeth, hopefully 2 times a day. You take a shower, we'll say every 36 hours, give or take, depending on how many kids you have at home at any given time. For me, I ride an elevator 37 floors 3 days a week at my office building. I ride a bus 3 days a week. There are things that we naturally, rhythms of our life that we already have. And so adding something to one of those habits already versus creating a new habit or a space is truly so scientifically effective. So the example I will give you is, I pray, it's like approximately 45 to 65 seconds, depending on how many stops I make on the way to up the 37 floors. I work for Make-A-Wish. So I pray for the Wish kids, the Wish parents, the medical professionals, the volunteers and the staff on my way up three times a week. So like, that's just something I have added. I make sure my AirPods are out. I'm not scrolling on Facebook as I'm writing, because those are choices I could make to have, you are habit stacking that. I've decided to put those away and say, no, that's like 3 times a week. That's just what I'm going to do on my way up to work. Brushing your teeth. You could do squats while you brush your teeth. You could choose to listen to worship music while you shower versus having it be silent, or listen to a podcast or something. Waiting in line for school pickup. You could decide to pray for your kids in that school pickup, or call a friend. So you're habit stacking. And once you have that established, you actually can then stack further. So like in the example of picking the kids up, it's like, okay, then once the kids get picked up from school, every day I'm going to say, okay, what happened in your day that we can pray for? Who did you see someone today that we can pray? You're just stacking a habit on top of an already established routine. And now before you know it, you have this like 10 stacked habit, and you haven't like made time. You're just doing the trip to school that you always did, but you're adding some good that you're trying to add into your life with it. So couple ideas I want to throw at you for body, mind, spirit. These are just like random, like little, I sent Jillian a thing. I said, I word vomited here and I'm open to feedback. She sent me none. So, thoughts and ideas on stewarding our physical body. Movement, finding something that you love. If you hate swimming or running, I hate running. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to run. I pee myself. My knees hurt. I don't like my elbow crease sweating. I do. My elbow crease sweats when I run. I don't like it. Find something that you actually enjoy doing, moving your body. You don't say that you're going to do it 7 days a week. What? Oh man. So even the moisture, I just can't handle it. I don't like it. I remember talking to Keith Bulky, but he's like, that's not a problem for me. I was like, I know. Okay. The James Clear has another kind of saying of like, instead of thinking about a habit or like if it's exercise of like, what can I do I'm going to do it 4 days a week for 30 minutes. Think about what you can do when you have the worst week of your life. Your kid has the flu, your husband's on traveling for work, and I don't know, like, what? You lost power. Like, what is something you can do when things are awful? So that when things aren't awful, you can scaffold that up. So if it's like, I'm going to commit to 5 minutes a day during nap time. Like, that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then on a Wednesday, when things are awesome and your kid happens to nap an hour and a half instead of 45 minutes, you know what? I did 20 minutes today instead of 5. Like, great. Like, you scaffold up from the low versus feeling like, oh, I'm setting the bar at 45 minutes for 3 days a week. And I just didn't get to it. And then all of a sudden 3 weeks go by, you haven't done it. You feel like a failure. And it's like, well, to hell with it. I'm not doing it at all. Like, what can you do when things are absolutely terrible? And then scaffold up when things are not terrible. Water, like really basic. Set an alarm, habit stack. Every time you go pee, drink water. Every time you, I don't know, like pick up your phone, drink water. Oh boy, you'd flood. Sleep. My goodness. Now, some of us are in a season where we can't, and that is what it is. Did you know if you have an iPhone, there is a button on the side, and if you press it 3 times in a row, rapidly fast, your screen goes to black. And did you know that when your screen is black and white versus color, you don't want to look at it as much? It is a dopamine cleanse. It is a real thing. So, like when I swipe up, my whole screen is black and white. You will not scroll. Now, I don't know about Androids, but I'm sure that you can Google it. But I know for the iPhone, all iPhones, 1, 2, 3 on the side. So maybe you say, what?
On an Android, I think that
So don't call 911, and if you,
It's a setting thing, because you can choose what it is.
sure. But if you go into your settings and you hit like the side button 3 times, it's like, so it turns and there is like real science behind this. If you hit it 3 times again, it will go to color again. Oh, it wants me to pay with capital 1. So there it goes, right? There's my color back. Maybe you set an alarm and at 9 o'clock, your phone goes off and it says dopamine cleanse or black and white. And you just shut your phone to black and white. You're not telling yourself like, don't pick up your phone, but I'm telling you, Instagram is way less exciting without color. Like way less exciting and way less funny. Like reels are not funny and not in color. I don't know. So there is something to be said about the color and feeding your brain at night and then not being able to go to sleep. So like that's just one small little hack idea for something you can do to be like, all right, I'm prioritizing sleep. My phone's going to black and white. Maybe put your phone in another room. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with your phone and sleep and things like that, but that's just one little idea. Do your meals have balance? Do your meals have protein, fat, carbs, fiber at most of your meals? If you're only eating fruit, that's great. That's an example of like, I'm making a healthy choice, but like it has absolutely no protein and it has absolutely no fat. So you're going to be hungry in like 30 minutes. So an apple with peanut butter, that balance, this is like the same concept as our bodies, is like much better than just an apple because the fat from the protein, fat from the peanut butter and the protein from the peanut butter will actually keep you full a little bit longer. And the peanut butter has a teeny little bit of fiber too. Go make a doctor's appointment for yourself, Mom. That is a way to
PCP.
get yourself a PCP. Go make that chiropractic appointment. Go get your teeth cleaned. Like these are things we put off about our physical body that, you know, it's not, I wouldn't call that self-care, but I would call it stewarding the gift of your body, right? All right, thoughts and ideas on stewarding your mind. So this is kind of, I like categorize these into cleaning up. Cleaning up like a single drawer, that drawer that drives you nuts. It's amazing when you open up a drawer and it's like organized and like free of junk, like I don't know. My mental health is directly related to how much is on my counters. Seriously, like when my counters are a little bit clearer, I'm like, woo! Feel the oxygen. Woo, it's a high. Like I don't like clutter. It really, really affects my mental health. So, all right, start a little cleaning schedule. Maybe every time the kid goes into the bathtub, you throw something in the laundry. This is like a habit stack of like, instead of doing laundry all weekend and feeling like it's consuming your life, just an idea to like break it up, right? Is there something you can clean up in your finances with your husband? Is there a relationship that needs to be cleaned up? These things weigh on us. This messiness, this chaos really can weigh on our mental health. Can you clean up your schedule? Is there something you need to say no to? Is there something you need to say yes to that isn't on your schedule? Is there some cleaning up and maintenance of your schedule that needs to happen? Schedule a phone date. Schedule a phone date with a friend. Like it's such a lost art form. We love to text, and I'm right with, like, my mother-in-law called me at 6:55 and I was like, why aren't you texting me? Like why are you calling? Like just text me. But like schedule, like, hey, can I schedule a phone date with you? What are you doing on Thursday after bedtime? And maybe it's once a month. Maybe you can put that into your life once a month. Schedule that time to talk to a friend. Something I love to do too is, if you're feeling, have you guys heard this like flamingo theory of like flamingos lose their pink, and they
I
lose.
haven't heard it.
So flamingos lose their pink, I think after they have a baby, after they have a kid, and then they gradually get it back. They gradually get their pink back. So as moms, this analogy of like kind of feeling like a little bit of you has like gone away, or you're having a hard time like with your identity. It's a very common feeling. Sometimes asking a friend who knew you in a past like season of your life, college, high school, hey, what did I used to love doing? Like it sounds so silly, but you would be shocked at some of the things that people would tell you. I was actually given this advice in my career when I was like having a hard time deciding what I wanted to do. The exercise was ask someone from a past part of your life of like what you're good at, because you'll get a really good answer. So it's the same concept of like, you can't see yourself well, right? Other people see you so differently, and like do the same for them. Obviously reciprocate. Don't just be like, tell me about me. But that's like an idea of just connecting with a friend. Do something kind for someone. Send a text out of nowhere. Send someone a note in the mail. Bring someone, like text someone and be like, hey, can I bring you coffee today? And just like literally drop it off. Doing something nice for someone will make your brain, like there's these dopamine like I study philanthropy for a living. That's what I do. But like doing something for someone else has such benefits for you. Obviously, you don't really want to do it for that reason, but it really can help you. Date night, husband, go out, stay in, make it intentional. Like put the kids to bed, put the phone to bed, and like get a special little cake like thing, or play a special board game at home, or pick a special movie that goes with the dinner that you had or whatever. Like set it apart. Like don't have it just like a couch date night. Like if it's on the couch, fine. But like, try to make it something special if babysitting is just really not a choice for you. Find a therapist, go talk to someone, fix your brain. Thoughts and ideas on stewarding your spirit, prayer. Has anyone dealt or played with or learned about prayer journaling? And if you have, like, what is it to you? What does that mean to you? Yeah,
No,
a couple different ways.
I just, I prayed by journal.
So like, are you writing a letter to God? Okay, so that's one, I know that's one way people do it.
Keeps my and I discovered things during that process that I didn't even know were problems.
And so like the alternative is just to kind of like just sit there and think in your head, but some people have a hard time staying focused when they do that. So writing it, there again, like mental, physical, there's a connection here that it's not by accident that God did for us, that we are like receiving information differently in that way. There's another version of prayer journaling with like bullet point. Go ahead. Yep.
We're doing prayer things more about listening. And so you're actually just, there's a lot of times where so much me in our agenda when we pray that sometimes we're not like hearing God and what he's putting into us.
Sure.
Right. So I think whenever you're journaling and you start your prayer and then you are led somewhere.
Sure.
And so then you distinguish like this is God.
Yep.
And so I think that's what prayer journaling looks like for me. It's more not just me just putting my prayer down, but actually where it's taking me and what's coming to me.
Sure. Conversation, two-way
Right.
street.
Right.
Not one way.
Because that's one, I have a problem with listening.
We all do. There's a couple different versions. You can certainly Google it. We're already running out of time because I could talk to this water bottle, like I said. Bible on audio, find a plan. I love the Tara Conaway Bible in a Year plan. I like her breakdown. I like her order of things. I'm trying as well. Here's the thing. I heard this great little mini sermon about Bible in a Year. This guy said, he's type A, he was a pastor, and he said, it's very easy to set this goal for Bible in a year and think about it like a checkbox, like every other thing in your life, or an accomplishment. He's like, I started thinking like when I would miss 3 days, I would catch up. Like I would catch up on 3 days. Like, oh, I'm behind. It's like, if you do Bible in 3 years instead of Bible in a year, you're still reading the Bible from front to back. God is not interested in our checkboxes and our accomplishments. The reason why we know reading the Bible on a regular basis is because God tells us in his word that that is a way to commune with him and to worship and to spend time and to get to know him. And so if you're doing it for that reason, it doesn't matter if you're on day 7 or day 77 and you got behind. What matters is that you're doing it to spend time with God. And that really spoke to me because I tried the Tara Conaway in a year and I got to like July and then I just really fell off the wagon and I got so far behind and I didn't want to pick it back up. And then because it felt overwhelming because I was like, I have like 45 minutes in like 3 days to listen to. Like I can't listen to, because I'll listen. You can, on the Bible app, you can listen to it. So if it's difficult for you to find time to sit down and read, you can listen to the Bible. I have learned that that's actually not great for me, but anyways, it is an option. And anyways, it's just this idea of like, God doesn't want our accomplishments. God wants time with us. I mentioned about listening to worship music. Invest in a church. I didn't say go to a church. Invest in a church. Time, money, spirit, all of that. Find a church where you are fed and can feed. Find a spiritual mentor and be one. Like find someone ahead of you in the journey of, faith, and find someone behind you and be able to, everyone should be pulling right towards God. So I'm over time, but those were some ideas that I just wanted to toss at you. The idea is not to overwhelm you and be like, okay, now go do all of those bullet points, everybody go. Check the boxes, check them now. The idea is that these hopefully were mostly small little things that we can do in these 3 triangulated areas of our life: body, mind, spirit, physical, mental, spiritual, to steward the gifts that God has given us. And get rid of the word self-care. I hate it so much. And if you want to take a bubble bath, I guess do that too.